Hello and welcome back to another Chinese food adventure. I am in the beautiful Yangshuo, home to stunning scenery, beer fish, and typically regarded as one of China's most touristy places. But today I'm going to try and move past the more touristy side of Yangshuo and do some village exploring, but the only real way to do that is to rent a scooter or a bike. The problem is I don't know how to ride a scooter and I don't think now is the time to start, and I haven't gotten on the back of a bike for almost 4 years. And that's because last time I got on a bike, this happened. But I don't want to be developing an unhealthy fear, so I thought today's the day that I'm going to get over that fear. I'm getting back on a bike and I've got just the person to talk to about it.
Hi, Amy.
Hello, Catherine! So I'm chatting with Catherine, who you may recognize from her YouTube channel, Catherine's Journey to the East. She makes the most amazing videos of her traveling across rural China on bike. What is it that you like about biking here in rural China?
The thing about cities is that they all kind of start to look the same after a while, but the countryside is different. Every city in the outskirts has these rural areas that all have their own unique characteristics. Different architecture, the way people live is different. The diversity of the country becomes so much more obvious when you're out in rural China.
So I've never biked in rural China before. Do you have any tips for me? Like, should I have a destination in mind or just go with the flow?
I don't really recommend picking random paths because you could accidentally miss out on something really good, or you could end up on like a main road and just kind of be like stuck with a bunch of trucks and dust and stuff. Satellite maps are your best friend. Change Baidu Maps or Google Maps to the satellite interface, and then you can see everything. You can see where the villages are, you can see where the mountains are, you can see where the teeny country roads are. You want to be on those teeny winding roads. You want to stay off the main road, and that's how you see all the best scenery.
So the only thing left to do was to make my map satellite view, check out the lay of the land, and plan out a route. Before I knew it, it was the late afternoon, so I decided to head off early tomorrow morning instead. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a tourist do I look like? Got my backpack, ready for a day of cycling. First things first, heading into the bike room where I shall choose my bike. This one has a basket, which I like the idea of. And it's pink. Okay, I think I'm gonna go for this one. So now to see if that old saying is true. Can you ever forget how to ride a bike? Okay, look, I'm doing it. I'm ready. Yangshuo, let's go. So according to the route I mapped out yesterday, I need to cycle through the Yangshuo main town center to eventually make my way to the Yulong River. I've heard there's a beautiful bike path along the riverside with some epic scenery, so that's where I'm headed. But as the road started getting bigger and busier in the town center, I started to get pretty frazzled and question the route I had mapped out for myself.
It was really frustrating and really hard because I was getting myself out of the city. That's the difficult part, and finding those mountain roads. Like, I don't know which way to go to get to the mountain roads, and when they'll start being a bit more like, I don't know, mountainous. I've been doing more walking than I have biking, that's for sure.
It soon became obvious this was not a time-efficient solution, so I decided it was time to bring out the big guns and call Catherine.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
I don't know how to get out of the main city, and it's scary being on the main road. Like, how do I find the mountain paths? Like, I don't know where to go.
I do remember going one stretch along the main road though. There was one stretch where I couldn't get away from it. It's not super long though.
And bless her cotton socks, Catherine was able to send me her GPS path from the cycle trip she did in Yangshuo and was able to find me the fastest and least main roady route out of the main town center. But it looks like I'm gonna have to follow a little bit of a main road for a little while. I know this road probably looks super chill and normal for you watching this, but cycling on this road here with cars, trucks, and buses beside me was definitely out of my comfort zone, but I did it.
About 10 minutes down the main road, I'm still alive. I'm doing it. I'm proud of myself. I'm actually overcoming a fear.
And it wasn't long at all before there were less and less cars. I started to feel a lot more relaxed, and at some point I actively started to enjoy myself. Soon I'd arrived at a small town close to the banks of the Yulong River, and I thought it'd be a good time to stop for some lunch. So I'm off the main road and I'm actually riding through my first little village, and I've come across this, which I really want to try. It's called fan. It's basically uncooked glutinous rice mixed with corn, carrot, and sausage, which is then stuffed into this bamboo tube.
你们那边没有的。
没有.
Yeah.
没有. Actually, a lot of rice can fit in this bamboo tube because it is quite thick. I think it'll fill me up for at least a few hours.
好的。
Okay, so it looks like it's full of rice now. Once the bamboo is filled with the sticky rice mix, hot water is added because that rice is actually going to be cooked inside the bamboo tube itself. It's plugged with the corn husk, then we're ready to cook it over the open flame. Okay, so you can see what a cooked version looks like. This has been cooked, this is ready to eat, and these are the fresh ones about to be fired up. And this is the cool part here. The fire is actually fueled by recycled bamboo tubes that customers have just finished eating the rice out of. So once it's been cooked and once the food inside has been eaten, the empty bamboo comes back out here and that's used as firewood. So from beginning to end, everything is used and nothing is wasted. So you can see it's starting to change color there, and I can only imagine what's happening on the inside. It takes about 20 minutes or so for the glutinous rice to boil to perfection. Once it's cooked, it's cracked open, then it's ready to eat. Definitely a dramatic dish. It's just not one of your run-of-the-mill come out on a plate and just eat it like that kind of dishes. This is an experience, and I'm glad I was able to film it, and I'm glad I'm going to be able to eat it. So I'm going to go in with some of that gorgeous glutinous rice. You can see it's got a beautiful texture there. Exactly what I needed. Something with a lot of carbs to keep me going for the rest of this ride, and also just very warming and easy. The flavor that's coming at me is kind of like more on the soy sauce side, and a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of alcoholiness from that sausage. Kind of reminds me of like a Cantonese lap chong. Yeah, tastes like lap chong. That rice is nice and glutinous-y, as promised. Got little bits of corn in there, little bits of carrot. It's just very simple, easy, digestible. Exactly what I needed. And I also have some pickles here that I was told if I want, I can pair with it. And I love me some pickles, so that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Excuse the pickle hands, by the way. Get me some rice. That's even better because you've got the savoriness from this, and then you've got a little bit of freshness from the pickle. And that extra freshness from the pickles makes that salty and sticky glutinous rice feel a lot lighter. And guys, sometimes actions speak louder than words. I think you can tell I enjoyed this dish by the way I scraped every last morsel of sticky rice out of this bamboo tube. There was only one thing left to do. I'm going to complete the cycle. 给你，特别好吃，谢谢。
特别好吃，下次又来啊！
好的，谢谢你。Fueled by that injection of carbs, it was time to get back on the bike for the final stretch towards the Yulong River. And the sun has actually come out, so I've had to apply some sunscreen, put on my sunglasses, and yeah, the weather's really turning out for me. And da-da-da-da, here we have it, the Yulong River. We did it. Oh, look at this. We have arrived at the Yulong River, which is technically the starting point for our ride today. This is where things start to get really beautiful, apparently. And look at that, like what an amazing backdrop that is. Those karst mountains, this river here, the water is really clear. And from what I've heard, there's basically a path along the entire Yulong River. So that's what we're going to be following, maybe the occasional detour to go and check out a village here and there. Yeah, let's go. And go we did. That's me putting along down there, by the way. The route was more amazing than I ever could have imagined. I pretty much had the whole path to myself, so I was very, very relaxed. I was flanked on either side by local vegetation and crops, karst mountains, and the flowing river for miles and miles and miles into the distance. And as tempting as it was to just keep following this path, I wanted to follow Catherine's advice and venture off the path towards one of the many small villages that pepper the landscape. I'm turning off the road. I'm gonna go down this path here. I just watched back a couple of videos of me riding my bike. I thought I was going a lot faster. It feels a lot faster than it looks. Oh my gosh, I'm really going very slow. Good thing is, the slower you go, the better you can appreciate the scenery you're riding through. How cool is this village that I'm cycling through? I learned this village here has around 300 years of history, and it definitely had that untouched rustic charm, which is why I definitely found myself surprised to find this cute modern little coffee shop in the side of a local house. I guess Yangshuo will be Yangshuo, even in the remote villages. And I was planning just to keep cycling through, but then I came across this restaurant here that looked quite cute. It's got some outdoor tables with a nice little view. I'm a fan of some nice scenery. And on the menu, they have something that I've been wanting to try for a while, which is the stuffed river snails. So basically what they do is they take pork and then the snail meat, they mince it together and then stuff it back into the snail shell. So that's what I've ordered and I'm excited to try it. It smells so fragrant. The waitress told me I should try to slurp the meat out, but I found that didn't really work for me. So I just used my chopsticks to extricate that pork and snail meat stuffed inside. Oh, that's so nice. So the texture is very, very tender. You don't have to bite hard at all for it to come apart in your mouth. But once you're actually chewing, you can taste where that snail comes in. There are bits of more chewier texture in this, just little tiny little pieces of it, and I'm thinking that's probably the snail, and then the rest that almost just dissolves in your mouth is the pork. And when I eat this, I can really taste the pork because I know what pork tastes like. I can taste the mint, which I really, really love, that freshness that it brings. I don't know if I can taste the snail, or maybe I can, but I just can't identify it because I'm not too familiar with snail meat. All I can say for sure is it's really, really delicious, very, very Moorish, and I will definitely be finishing all of them. I just noticed the time. It's already after 3 p.m. I've been cycling for 5 hours and I have ridden, let's see, 8 kilometers. 8 kilometers in 5 hours is probably a little slower than average. So I think at this stage I should be probably planning my trip back home. But I am really keen to see if I can get to the Moon Hill, which is a famous kind of site here in Yangshuo. And famously depicted in the background of the portrait I got done here in Yangshuo yesterday.
Yangshuo Moon here, Yulong River, West Street, 2 birds.
But I'm a bit concerned if I'll be able to make it or not because it says it's going to take me 12.5 kilometers to get there, which is more than I've ridden in the last 5 hours. So let's get back on the bike, zoom there, no videos, no photos, no droning, just try and get there and get this done. I can safely say this has been the longest bike ride I've done in my life. And I have to be honest, on this 12-kilometer stretch towards the Moon Hill, there were quite a few times that I thought about giving up. But I pushed through, and after about 2.5 hours, just as the sun started to set, I made it to the base of the Moon Hill. And look how cool it looks. There's a hole in the mountain. So I have made it to the Moon Hill. I have my ticket and I am going to the left. I've gotten off my bike and now it's time to do some climbing. Quite a bit of exercise today. And I didn't know it yet, but I had signed myself up for quite a bit more. This hike was a lot steeper and a lot longer than I had anticipated. And by the time I reached the top, I was well and truly knackered. Okay. I've arrived at the Moon Mountain, the Moon Hill. I'm directly underneath it. It's this like massive hole in the rock. It's kind of hard to see the perspective from up here. So probably better just to go to like a viewing platform or something. But I made it, and this has been quite an exercise-filled day. I almost forgot about this. I brought some snacks all the way from Yangshuo city center to try in case I got hungry. And I've expelled quite a few calories getting to the top of this mountain. So I think it's the perfect time to try us some gui hua gao. I feel like every second shop in the Yangshuo town center is selling this snack. So I was curious to try it for myself. It's made from osmanthus and it's kind of pressed together into the shape of a cake. So cute. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of a moon cake. It's quite, ooh, look, quite soft and crumbly. Ooh, it smells like osmanthus, as you would expect from an osmanthus cake. Oh, so soft. It reminds me of like eating sweet florally butter. It's really good actually. And this here is another specialty that I picked up in town. Looks like some kind of crunchy cake, of course, with osmanthus added. What else? That's good too. Crunchy with like a really subtle osmanthus flavor and sweetness. Perfect mountain top snack. It's actually really cool seeing the underside of this. Very interesting texture up there and a couple of like little caves or holes in the side of it. I do still feel like this is better appreciated from a distance. Maybe I haven't reached the end yet. Let's keep going up that way and see if there's a viewing platform or something. I was right. There is a viewing platform here. I haven't looked behind me here because I want to keep the final excitement for when I get to the top of this platform and turn around and we can all appreciate the scenery together. It's going to be a wonderful moment that we share here today. Counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whoa! Now that actually really is beautiful. Check that out. With that background of those mountains there. Oh, now this is what I climbed for. And look, also over here, you've got beautiful villages and scenery. Oh my gosh. This is absolutely stunning. Now I can finally enjoy the inspiration behind the background of my portrait that I got done yesterday here in Yangshuo. And I have to say, looks a bit different in person. Okay, so that actually does bring us to the end of our biking adventure for today. It's been tiring, but amazing, and I feel like I've conquered a fear today. I feel very proud of myself. My butt is aching, my legs are aching, but what is aching most of all is my hands from holding the brakes like crazy. And yeah, there's absolutely no way that I'm gonna be able to get back to my hotel. It's still another like 12 kilometers or something. So the plan is throwing some money at the problem. Money well spent. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I worked my butt off today for you guys to watch this video, so please put your fingers where they need to go, which is right to that subscribe button. And yeah, I will see you next time. Goodbye from Yangshuo. Bye.